everyone, I'm Professor Simon Chen from Department of Land Management, Feng University. Today I want to present the topic about the blockchain, which is my recent research interest. So today I want to talk about the role of the blockchain in the development of smart cities. We all know about the smart cities, which is use a wide range of the cutting-edge electronic and digital technology to communities and cities. The technology includes quite a lot. For example, information and communication technology, we call it ICT. And the Internet of Things, we call it IoT. Of course, include the artificial intelligence, like AI, and the blockchain, self-driving car, and etc. So we use such kind of all technology all together, and it become the smart city the driving force. But actually, the smart city driving force is based on the big data, and it collects through lots of the sensors. So lots of data and lots of sensors. So the final purpose is we hope that smart cities can use this kind of the huge data, and we analysis, and then we can filter the very good information, and then we can optimize our infrastructure, mobilities, public service, and the utilities. But right now, lots of research and we all focus on the tangible technology, just like the 5G, 6G communication, or the self-driving car, AI, robots, and like the VR and AI. It's very tangible technology. For my personal point of view, we always maybe will ignore the very importance of blockchain can play in smart cities. Based on my research, I would say the blockchain is playing a very, very crucial role because it can bring all new technology together and make the smart city real. And sometimes it may transform the smart city as like a smart space. My personal comments very like the Gartner. The Gartner is a very famous institute to predict how the cutting edge technology will apply and how it will impact our society. So we can see the Gartner, it ever predict the very important technology trend in 2019. It predict the very important intelligence like the autonomous things, the augmented analytics. Of course, in the digital aspect, it predict the very important technology is the digital twin and the empowered age, and always all together through the blockchain technology and then make the place to become smart place. So today will be very important factors in my talk. So how make such kind of technology together via the blockchain is very important to make the smart city real and then become a smart space in everywhere. Okay, right now I want to introduce the very key elements or basic conception about the blockchain. Actually, it includes 5 important elements. 1 is the distribution ledgers, and then 2 is about the inscription. The 3rd is the immutability, because the data cannot be immutated. And the 4th is about the tokenization, and then the 5th factor is the decentralization, is because the decentralization, the governance. So that's the 5 very important factors. When we link together very strong, then we can create a totally new blockchain society. And it will help our society or our smart city become a smart governance. And then maybe we can say the programmable society. So this is very important. And how it will link to the smart city. I will write some examples for your consideration. First is the digital twin. So I think the digital twin is very important in smart cities. Sometimes the smart cities very need the technology of blockchain to make sure the digital city become real. Why? We can see that. The digital twin sometimes always refers to the virtual mode or process, the product of service. They compare together with the virtual and the physical worlds. So we can identify the problems before they even occur. So we can mix it in the virtual world. And then when we do some real project in the real world, we can do it very precisely. Of course, we also can use the simulation technology to predict the future. And then therefore, we can do some adjustment in case of the future scenario is changed. So I think that the technology is very important, help us to produce or precise to predict the possible future, and it allows us to do everything just so well prepared and reduce a lot of time and cost. So why smart cities really need the immutability in digital twins? Because digital twin declines that the technology make no difference between the virtual and the physical world, but they cannot make sure whether any tiny change ever been done by some person. They just purposely want to do. So we can see just like you can see the PowerPoint, the 3D, the cadastral come from the very traditional 2D, the cadastral. You know the cadastral map cannot be changed. We want to make sure exactly the same. Then we can make sure the real estate transaction can be smoothly transacted. So that is very important, the digital twin, to make sure it's real and never be changed by any person. So everybody have to make sure the digital twin is always the same between the virtual world and the physical world. They need the blockchain technology for sure. So if we have the 3D cadastral with the blockchain technology, we can imagine to use in a scenario which is a post-earthquake reconstruction. And you can see one day when our cities struck by an earthquake, you can see a lot of the building collapse. So people maybe will lose their documents. How do we do the construction? If we have the 3D cadastral and with the blockchain technology, we can reconstruct it very precise, and we will not have so many conflicts because people will based on the 3D cadastral and the virtual, the cadastral data to do the exact same the reconstruction work. So it can demonstrate that smart city really need a blockchain technology. Of course, include a 3D cadastral in the future. Okay, we just talked about the digital twin, and you can see when we apply the digital twin, it must involve lots of data. So in the smart cities, we also will have lots of the big data. So the one very basic element in the blockchain, we call it the distributed ledgers. So the distributed ledgers, the traditional function is to record, to store the data. But in the smart cities, maybe we can let the distributed ledgers, not only the records, maybe we can do something else. For example, right now the new technology is called edge commutation. It serves because just we want to resolve the lots of the data in smart cities. We cannot just rely on the client commutation because we will have so huge the data. So we need an edge commutation system, distributed the commuting system. If we can combine this edge commuting system with distributed the ledgers, it will make sure the data commute and will storage without any change. We'll make sure our data is good. So you can see we can collect data and calculate data in a blockchain support. The node will become very safe. So we need the distributed ledgers to combine with the edge computing technology. So you can see the distributed ledgers will not only play the records, but also will become like the computers in the smart cities. Moreover, the distributed ledgers, sometimes it can play in a political society, or I say the democracy society. Because the distributed ledgers, it can become the individual representative. We can do the voting because the node can represent ourselves. And then through the blockchain technology, also can result just like the Bitcoins, the double spending, the double voting. So we can make sure individual is the real one and only vote one thing. So we can make sure in our democratic society, the election is just underway through a very impartial procedure, and we don't need to worry about the wriggling or electoral fraud. So right now, actually, there is a society really ever practice this kind of blockchain, the e-voting. It's in Switzerland, the city called the Zurich. They just use the technology to do the e-voting, supported by the blockchain, the technology. You can measure our voting, our democracy. The society will use the less costly way to collect our policy preference, or to resolve the traditional criticism about our democracy society, because it's very costly, which is just use a lot of the resource. And sometimes in third world countries, always full of the frauds, and sometimes maybe the votes always will create some conflicts. So we can use the blockchain to collect the public preference in a very cheaper way and a very efficient way. Okay, we just talk about the distributed ledgers. Can store the data, can play like computers. Also can behalf of you to do the vote. Another function, sometimes people will say in small cities, people are always concerned about their privacy. In blockchain technology, there is one technology is very important. We call it SSI. It's a self-sovereign identity. It's developed to assist individuals to manage and control their identity without intervening any administrative authority or outside the companies. So SSI allows people to interact in the digital world with the same freedom and capacity. Anyone want to approach your personal data must get the permission from yourself. That's the very basic function of the SSI technology. So if we have SSI technology, the node will represent just like you. One day when the SSI the technology just applied in everywhere, so you can see that we can protect the people's privacy. Moreover, any company who want to get your data for doing the research or like the marketing survey, it must get your permission. Not only get your permission, once they use your data to do the analysis and they become the business models. When they earn the money, they must share the profit with you. So it will change right now the current society. You can see in the data economy, we just have so much the giant tech like the Facebook, the Google, because they use our data but never share the benefit with us. With SSI, the technology, we can control and manage our personal data. We can decide which company you want to share. And then every company and the institute, once get your data, must share the profit afterwards. And it will create much fair the society and much fair the business sharing the model in our society. So in the smart cities, we have to make sure in the smart cities the society must become more fair. So you can see that when we combine all this blockchain technology in the smart cities, we can see the smart cities must be kind of the blockchain society. And one day when the smart city combined with the blockchain technology so well, we can see that our society will transform from IoT, Internet of Things, to become IOM, Internet of Me. You just like have one identity in the future, in the virtual world. The comparison just like the same with the physical one. So, and in the future world, you can there will have the autonomous agents make the decisions on your behalf. So you can buy things through the internet. Your things also can automatically doing transactions, of course, under your authority. So you can imagine that in the small cities, there is the small buildings, your house with the sensors. Your sensors can buy the energy from the internet. Under your agreement, you can just you can let your sensors arrange a price to buy the energy, And through the AI assistance, your sensors maybe can choose the perfect time to buy the cheapest the price from the energy. And that will become a society like you and your things. Global Internet of Things with Global Internet of Means will automatically coordinate together. Then we can do a lot of transaction, and you can imagine your sensor in your house can buy the energy. So of course you also can imagine that the self-driving car also can do the transaction, just like to buy the petroleum, buy your lunch under your authority. So if we want to fulfill such kind of dreams, of course we also need the blockchain technology, just like the token and the smart contract, to make the things can coordinate and they can buy things interact together. That's the blockchain the society. Okay, so you can see the blockchain technology is really important for make the smart city real. Not only smarter, better, and much fairer. The wealth, the distribution will much more smooth, and the society will become much trust each other. So of course, it's not a very easy goal. We need to take time to achieve. So when will this era is coming, and who can divide it at different period of time? I think the first step will be the Internet of Information that combine together. We need to develop the technology. It's called encryption and the distributed ledgers. Of course, it's the first two elements we have developed first, and that we call it enabling technology. The property has happened during the 2010 to 2020. In this period of time, we also need to develop the blockchain-based, very prototype the blockchain development. We call it a blockchain-inspired development. That will include, right now, I think the many developments so far belong to the blockchain-inspired development. There will be the encryption, the distributed ledgers, and with the immutability data. So we got the three elements together. Now we can make sure the Internet of Contents is qualified and is safe, and can prevent the hackers attack. So that we call it a blockchain inspired. So probably during 2010 to 2020. So this year is 2020, also in a very important milestone year. So after the 2020, we need another two elements to make sure the blockchain development becomes much more mature. The other two elements is the tokenization and the decentralization. So I think the token and the decentralization development is very important, but it's very difficult task. One day when we combine the tokenization, we can realize the micro-transaction, which cannot be made in current days because we use the government issued currency, which the cost is very high. We cannot realize the very tiny micro-transaction. With the assistance of the tokens, we can realize a huge micro-transaction, and of course will improve the huge economic efficiency. So the tokenization is very important, and because it's very safe, then we can really realize the decentralization and also the empower to individual to become really in the decentralization. The society will make the decision from bottom up. So after the 2030s, we will into a new era. We call it an enhanced blockchain society. We will make the society become the more programmable. And because the blockchain technology, we've got the five elements all together. And the society will, with the assistance of the smart contract and the tokenization, people will much easier to do the transaction because the things and the AI can do lots of your favors. So we are in a society, the smart city is very smart. The wealth must be shared, and it thinks like quite like an utopia. Of course, the big company also want to govern the technology to assist the company competitors, and the hierarchy, the organization structure also favored by the nation's administration system or the company. So I think the blockchain society, they want to create the decentralized power structure. Of course, will impact the current power structure. So in the future, we can see that probably will struggle with the traditional power structure, with the blockchain, the society involved. So finally, I will include the person, and the company, and the researcher. We always need to apply the blockchain, the technology, and then we have tried very hard to combine with the smart city, the technology, and then we have to make sure our smart city development, the benefit, the wealth cannot be harvested by this powerful man, the politician, or the giant company. We have to make sure the development of smart cities, the benefit must be shared by every individual, the civil society. And the last reason, we have to combine the blockchain technology within our smart cities. That's my topic. Thank you, everyone. And I'm the Professor Chen. If anyone who has the interest with the development of blockchain, you can contact with me. You can find my email address on the Feng University Department of Land Management. You will find me. See you. Bye.